guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brain D3ad, and in today's video we are going to talk about the lady who has been declared as brain dead, but they are keeping her on life support because she is pregnant and they don't want to violate the abortion laws in the state of Georgia.
It started with headaches. April Newkirk says her 30-year-old daughter, Adriana Smith, was pregnant with her second child when something started to go terribly wrong.
They did a CT scan and she had blood clots all in her head.
Speaking to NBC affiliate WXIA, Newkirk says soon after that, Adriana was declared brain dead by Emory doctors. That was back in February, but she's still in the hospital, Newkirk says, on life support. The doctors haven't withdrawn, because that would mean the unborn fetus Adriana still carries would also die, a potential violation of Georgia's strict abortion law.
It's torture for me. I come here and I see my daughter breathing by the ventilator, but she's not there.
The law bans most abortions after roughly 6 weeks of pregnancy, with narrow exceptions. Emory says it doesn't comment on patient cases, but the hospital uses, quote, individualized treatment recommendations in compliance with Georgia's abortion laws. It's all raising fresh questions about the reach of the law. Republican State Senator Marty Harbin says he still supports it.
We have already determined that she does not have life, but yet the baby does have life.
The current plan, Newkirk says, is to keep Adriana alive until doctors can deliver the baby safely via C-section. For now, her mother waits.
I'm not saying that we would have chose to terminate her pregnancy. What I'm saying is we should have had a choice.
So before I get started with this video, please hit that subscribe button. Please like this video and hit the notification bell if you are already subscribed, because you love my infectious energy and my smile. And this, even though the subject matter itself we're going to talk about is a little heavy, I still like to keep it, as friendly as possible, or as, light as possible because of the topic at hand. But I really want to talk about this. So I'm going to just read the article from the New York Times before I really give my opinion on the matter. So after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022, Georgia banned almost all abortions in cases where a fetus has a detectable human heartbeat. Legislators did not seem to have considered a situation in which a pregnant woman is legally dead. This is where the lawyers get it wrong. All right. In this case, there is so much we don't know. What exactly did the hospital tell Ms. Smith's family? What did they feel they could do in the case where a fetus continued to grow in the body of a woman who was brain dead? Would they have counseled this family differently about their options before the fall of Roe? Reproductive justice advocates have long been clear that abortion laws is never only about abortion. It is about the exercise of control over all pregnant women, regardless of whether they plan to carry their pregnancies to term. That's why the anti-abortion movement has pursued a broad agenda of legal personhood for embryos and fetuses. Though not all who cheered the fall of Roe might have understood the full ramifications of the decision, this kind of catastrophic event was inevitable given the expansive and imprecise laws written by legislators who generally lack medical expertise and the ability of politicians to fully predict every emergency situation. So basically, the mom said the hospital informed her that because of the fetus her daughter was carrying, it could not legally withdraw the artificial means of keeping her body functioning. Ms. Smith is now approximately 22 weeks pregnant, and they've been having her on life support since I think she's either 6 weeks or 9 weeks pregnant. I want to say 9 weeks pregnant. Her mother told the press she understood this state of limbo could continue for another 10 weeks, but she has also said it's possible that the fetus will have complications, and survival in gestation does not necessarily mean a live or healthy birth. So I believe it's either the life bill or the heartbeat bill in the state of Georgia. I want to say the heartbeat bill. And so because of these new legislations, you guys, and these new laws that pertains to abortion, a lot of medical care professions are very nervous about what type of care they provide if it's going to end the term of a pregnancy. And so my understanding of how this law is if there is an issue, a doctor can issue, an abortion if they determine medically that is what's needed or that's what's in the best interest.
I'm speaking today as a nurse, a legal consultant, and most importantly, a Black woman with a voice in healthcare and the law. And let me tell you something. In all of my years of working on critical cases, I have never encountered anything like this. Adriana Smith, 30 years old, a nurse, a mother, declared brain dead after suffering a catastrophic medical emergency. In our field, that's not a coma, that's legal death. Brain death means no cerebral activity, no recovery. But because Adriana was just 9 weeks pregnant at the time, she's still on life support. Not for her, but for the fetus for 90 plus days. And her family, her mother, her partner, her young son, who thinks she's asleep, they've been told their voices don't matter because of Georgia's heartbeat law. The law says once fetal cardiac activity is detected around 6 weeks, no termination, no exceptions for brain death, no acknowledgement of Adriana's legal status as deceased. So her body is being medically sustained, intubated, monitored, housed in the ICU to grow a fetus with an unknown prognosis. Doctors already suspect fluid on the brain. The outcome is uncertain. This isn't just tragic, it is absolutely traumatizing. And it raises ethical and legal questions we just cannot ignore. Who decides care when the patient is legally dead? Why is the family's legal authority being denied? And what precedent does this set for bodily autonomy, especially for Black women? Nurses are trained to advocate. Legal consultants such as myself are trained to analyze the gaps. In this case, this is a massive gaping hole in law and humanity. I stand with Adriana's family, and I demand the law catch up with both medical science and compassion. Tell me, should a legally dead woman's body be forced to carry a pregnancy because of the law?
And so the hospitals are afraid of being sued, right? Doctors are afraid of being sued. Hospitals are afraid of being sued by the Attorney General or by the state because of this heartbeat bill.
A spokesperson for Attorney General Carr said the situation was not due to Georgia law, saying, quote, "There is nothing in the Life Act that requires medical professionals to keep a woman on life support after brain death. Removing life support is not an action with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy."
And so apparently there is some case law from the 80s that speaks to when a family, when a hospital terminated a pregnancy, they were sued. So what I'm hearing in the legal streets is that that's part of the concern that the hospital have is getting sued. Now, I think either way it goes, there's going to be a lawsuit because the mother may be able to sue for medical malpractice, which doesn't oftentimes end up in a full-blown lawsuit. In my state, which I'm pretty sure is similar in other states, it is a panel of doctors and a lawyer to determine whether or not is this sufficient to go into a full-blown litigious lawsuit, or can there be some sort of settlement, right? The other lawsuit that could be filed against the hospital by the family, I'm thinking, is probably intentional infliction of emotional distress. Because can you even imagine like the type of stress or the type of depression and all of the angst? Because not only did this family lose their daughter, now their daughter is being kept on life support because she's pregnant and she has no autonomy over her body anymore, and not even her family has a say so as to like, let's just take their daughter off of life support and just allow to do a proper burial for the child and to end this, because it's extending the grieving process for this family. Not only that they have to see their daughter every day in the hospital, not every day, but just the thought or the fact that their daughter is in the hospital brain dead and she's growing this baby and they have no say-so. They have no say-so over the situation. And the fact that, like, say if the baby is born, when it comes to the end of the term of the pregnancy and the baby is born, the baby might have all sorts of health issues, right? That are going to be extraordinary medical needs of this child that's going to be left the responsibility of somebody, maybe the father, and the father is going to need help, of course, from the family, but it's going to add just added stress. And it's just kind of like, for some people, it's just not worth it. For some people, it's just not worth it. And so now there is a legal limbo as to what is the best thing to do. What legislators are relying on, politicians are relying on, is the advice, the medical advice of the experts, the doctors, right? And the doctors are just kind of like, well, we don't want to take the risk of being sued by the state or by the attorney general, so we're just going to see, like, this is a viable fetus. We're just going to see it to the end of the term to make sure that, you know, this woman has her baby. But I still feel like, depending, whatever side of the baloney you land on, there's still going to be a lawsuit. I feel like the parents of this, the husband, the parents, a lawsuit needs to be filed on their behalf for their daughter, because you're literally intentionally inflicting stress on this emotional distress, which they're grieving the loss of their child. And on top of that, y'all are keeping her hooked up to life support. And I think the ironic part about all this is that she's a daggone nurse. Like, isn't that crazy? So, like, people are saying this is not, the heartbeat bill was not intended for all of this. So what's happening? And they're saying, like, the medical doctors can still make the decisions, but they're choosing not to because they're scared, because there are lawsuits being filed left and right against doctors. There's a lawsuit in Louisiana, and I believe there's a lawsuit in Texas as well against doctors who have filed abortions. So people are not wanting to deal with this, and people are wanting to avoid lawsuits and wanting to do what they think is in the best interest, not only to protect themselves, but them children, or, you know, to prevent abortions, because people are scared. The laws are so fresh and so new, and it's a legal limbo. It's insane. But there needs to be some changes, and now we're just going to see, like, the ramifications and the effects of post Roe v. Wade and how it affects the lives of women and children. And not only is it affecting the lives of the women and children, but it's affecting the lives of the women and children and their family. Let me know what you guys think about this. I thought this was a very interesting subject matter, and I wanted to talk about it because I cannot believe they are keeping a brain dead woman on life support just to give birth. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think, and keep it cute or leave it on mute. This is a safe space to say exactly how you feel, but you have to be respectful in the comment section below. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.